If you have no idea how to plan an international wedding and you're worried about getting scammed or making very expensive mistakes, stick around. I'm gonna share my 6 must-know tips for planning your destination wedding the right way. But first, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I post another video about destination wedding planning advice. I'm destination wedding planner Kay Northrup, and I help untraditional couples plan multi-day intimate destination weddings abroad. I've used these tips to successfully plan weddings across 4 continents and 12 countries to date. When it comes to planning a destination wedding, there are a lot of unknowns, and because of that, a lot can go wrong. So let's air it all out. What can go wrong? What are the ways that you could get scammed, or what are the mistakes that you could make that could result in your wedding not looking or feeling or costing what you expected it to? I'm gonna identify those mistakes and show you how to avoid them. So let's get into it. Number 1, you must hire legit vendors. This is the number 1 way that I see people get scammed. You don't know these people. They live way over there. You're putting a lot of trust in a stranger that you're paying internationally to actually show up and do the job that you think you've hired them to do. So how do we know who's legit? What's that process for vetting a vendor internationally? Well, first, I go directly to Google. Google, TripAdvisor, and sometimes even Wedding Wire or The Knot will have reviews on there that you can't change. So if you're thinking of working with a company abroad that you found, you like their vibe, immediately go to Google, type their name in, and go to the review section and see what people are saying, good or bad. I also want to see pictures on there if people have posted pictures, if they've left a review. I also want to see on TripAdvisor what people had to say. That's going to be a really common platform, especially for international vendors. Next thing is, at some point before you sign their contract, schedule a face-to-face video call with them. You can use Skype, Zoom, you could use the video feature in WhatsApp, whatever it is, even FaceTime. Get on the phone and see that there's a real person behind the email. Next, I would go to Instagram. I know that kind of sounds silly, but Instagram really is the LinkedIn of the wedding industry, even internationally. So go to Instagram and see what their page is like, but I want you to go to the tagged sections where people have tagged them, you know, when you go to their profile to the right, and see how often people are tagging them, how recent has it been that they've been tagged, and what are the types of things they're being tagged in. The best thing that you can do to find out if a vendor is legit in their tag section is to see other couples who have worked with them in the past. And maybe they've tagged them, you know, they got their wedding photos back and they went through and they tagged all their vendors. That's amazing. That's the gold mine. You can actually DM those couples and ask them how their experience was working with this venue or vendor. A lot of times people think that's weird. Honestly, people love to talk about their wedding. They don't care who's asking. A simple DM that's like, hey, your wedding was amazing. This is exactly what I'm going for my own wedding. I would be so jazzed if mine looked like yours. Do you mind telling me how your experience was working with X, Y, and Z? And you'd be surprised how many people will answer you. You can also leverage the vendors that have worked at your venue before. So if you found a venue that you absolutely love, they might have a list of preferred vendors, and you can start there because those are vendors that are already legit, your venue trusts, and have worked at your venue before, which is going to make your planning process a little bit easier anyway. Now, there's a really key indicator that's going to give you the red or green flag based on if the vendor is legit, and that's their contract. If they don't have a contract, could be a red flag. If they do have a contract, I'm already loving where this is going. Within that contract, we want to make sure that all of the details are in there, especially the terms for cancellation and postponement, so that you understand what happens to your payments if for any reason you have to change the date or cancel the wedding. Also in that contract, especially for venues, make sure the address of the actual location of the venue is in there, and then Google it to make sure that that venue is exactly where you think it is. For example, if you're getting married at the Villa Galé in Portugal, do you want the one in Douro Valley or the one all the way down in Lisbon? 2 very different properties. So if you follow all of those tips, that's a really great start for making sure that you're vetting legit venues and vendors. Tip number 2 is using Google Satellite to make sure that the venue actually looks like the pictures. We want to make sure, since you're thousands of miles away from the potential venue that you're getting married at, that the place actually looks like the pictures that you've seen. Photo angles and editing can hide undesirable aspects of a venue that you won't discover until you get there. So we want to know if they're hiding anything, especially because if you are planning a destination wedding and you have your eye on a venue that you're totally totally in love with, chances are you're gonna have to sign a contract for the date that you want before you can get there in person. So there's two things that we're gonna do. Number one, remember how I said in step one to FaceTime with the person who's there. You're gonna turn that into a virtual site visit. This is gonna be a little harder to do if they're in busy season, so bear with them and find a time that works for both of you, but get on a video call and have them walk you through the property so you can see it virtually for yourself. Alternatively, they might already have a walkthrough on YouTube, so feel free to just go and kind of Google your venue name and the word walkthrough and see if someone's already done this. You can already start to piece together the puzzle pieces. Then you're gonna do some private investigator style research. So you're gonna go to Google and Google your venue, and then your probably default settings are gonna have this setting here where it kind of looks like a cartoon, so we wanna click on satellite, and then we're gonna click the little yellow icon at the bottom right so that it's going to illuminate all of the possible street views that Google Satellite has. Then we're gonna click on where we'd like to see, and it's gonna bring us to this actual street view of the property. So now here we are live walking an actual venue in Tuscany to see what it has. And I'm liking what I'm seeing here because this is absolutely beautiful. What we're looking for when we do these satellite research sessions are undesirable things that are easy to hide. Cemeteries, major highways situated right next to the ceremony spot, dumps, things like that. So that is how you go the extra mile to actually make sure your venue looks like the pictures you've seen. Number 3, avoid wire fraud. If you've never sent an international wire transfer before, your first one is gonna feel a little scary, and to be honest, they all kind of feel a little scary. It's a lot of money that you're moving internationally. But there are some best practices that you can follow to make sure that you're not making any unfortunate mistakes when sending large amounts of money into the ether. My first best practice, never send money to someone in a wire that you have not talked to on the phone first. If you followed steps 1 and 2, you've already had a video call with the person that you're talking to make sure they were a legit vendor. You've already had a site visit virtually to make sure the property looks the way you think it looks. So this step has already been covered. While you're on that call, it's really great to confirm the wire details. If they sent them to you in an email, you can simply say, hey, I'm just confirming that the wire details that you sent me are correct, and you emailed them to me on this date. Now, the next best practice when dealing with wire transfers is to get their bank information in a PDF format. So they would include that in maybe a pro forma invoice or in the contract that they've already sent you, but we don't want that information in the body of an email. There's a lot of room for error there. The two pieces of information that you're gonna need to send the wire transfer are the SWIFT code and the IBAN, which is effectively the routing and account number. And these are long numbers with letters, and they're very easy to mess up. Or if one person isn't paying attention and they enter it wrong in the email, or they, slip of a finger, backspace one letter, your money is not going to make it to the destination. That's why when they send you the details, you want to make sure that it's in a PDF format so you know that those details haven't been tampered with. Then when you're entering those details, you can either do it on your mobile banking app or you can go in person to the branch. If you're nervous, I recommend going in person. It can just make you feel a little bit more settled, especially the first couple times that you're doing it. Wherever you are, you want to make sure that you're entering those numbers with care. So this is not the end of the day task when you're bleary-eyed. This is your first cup of coffee, you sit down fresh and ready to go, and you are on it. Bonus points if you can have someone next to you even cross-check the numbers that you put in just to confirm everything is correct. If this is resonating with you so far, hit that like button right now. Number 4, discovering hidden fees before it's too late. Unfortunately, the wedding industry has a huge problem with price transparency. This manifests in a couple of different ways. You could see hidden fees pop up down the line that were never discussed or agreed upon, or even up front, a venue could be pretty cryptic about what the bottom line actually is. For example, in your contract or your invoice, it might say, here's the price for the venue, here's the price for the required caterer that you have to use, here are the costs for the little fees you might find, but it's not actually added up total anywhere. So because of that, let's talk about some hidden fees that are pretty common so that you can do this investigative work before you sign a venue and find out the hard way. A lot of times venues will have required vendors that you have to use. That could be a catering company, AV, lighting, sometimes, not as common, but sometimes there'll be a required florist or a rental company that you need to use. And what that says is you're signing this contract to work at that venue, but you're also locking yourself into working with those vendors. Locking in working with certain vendors, it's not the end of the world. It can actually be a positive thing because they've worked at the venue before and the venue clearly trusts them. But what it's eliminating is your ability to then price shop and price compare vendors and pick the one that's right for you. For example, if you really hate flowers and you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, but you want to have some, you might be looking for the cheapest florist that can get the job done. But if you're required to use the venue's florist and they tend to work with higher budgets, you're kind of locked in there. So that is a big question to ask the venue before you book them. What are the required vendors and what are the general starting prices for those vendors? Next one, internationally, it's the VAT tax. VAT, value added taxes. Sometimes these taxes can be up to 24%. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of times when venues are giving their pricing, they'll say, this is the venue cost plus VAT, leaving you to then go find out what the VAT is and add it on. We're not dealing with small numbers here. 24% of $10,000 is a lot of tax. So moving forward, know that every single number has VAT attached to it, and you need to always clarify if that number is inclusive or exclusive of VAT. Now, there's other little ways where the price can look misleading in a contract. Sometimes if your venue rental has accommodations attached to it, which is really common for a destination wedding that's multiple days, they might be giving you the price per night. That's a big mistake to make if you're planning on staying for 3 nights. So always double check that you've times that price by the number of nights that you plan to stay. There may also be travel fees with vendors who need to make it to your event. Even if you're hiring local vendors who live in that country, they might live in a different town or a different part of the country and be still charging you for the cost of a train ticket or a plane ticket or a cost of overnight accommodations to get there. So if any vendor ever says, this is my cost plus travel, we really want to nail in before you sign, how much is that travel actually? Other hidden fees that can pop up down the line are porterage charges. It's basically the cost to haul your stuff up to very difficult to reach venues. And some of the most beautiful venues are difficult to reach with big delivery trucks. So think about your florists, your rentals, your lighting companies, anything like that that requires a big truck. If they can't get that truck up to your venue, they might charge you extra fees or a really high minimum to get to your venue to deliver those items. The venue itself might also charge you porterage fees for bringing your luggage up to the venue or assisting with bringing elderly guests up to the venue as well. All additional costs we've seen before. And lastly, for hidden fees, the exchange rate. You're planning something internationally in a currency that is not your local currency. And exchange rates change every day. So one day your wedding could be cheaper, the next day your wedding could be more expensive. So because of that, I always recommend that you just take 3% off the top of whatever you're willing to spend on your wedding and keep it in a little fund just to protect you against variance in the exchange rate. Number 5, understand what vendors typically charge and if you're getting the American upcharge. So many couples ask me, Kay, are they charging me more just because I'm American and they know I can pay it? Not necessarily. Let me be frank. Generally, we do see vendors in Europe and Mexico charge less than what they would cost if they were in the United States. And this makes sense because the United States is a very inflated wedding market. But it's not necessarily true that foreign vendors are charging you more just because you're expecting it. Now, I will say, yeah, there are certain vendors internationally that are located in more off the beaten path locations that are working in lesser known towns and venues with the local people there that charge less. But they may not specialize in working with Americans. They may not also be proficient in English. And for the ease of your wedding planning process, it is worth paying a bit of a premium for a vendor who is used to working with Americans. Not only just for the language purpose, but you'll be able to build a rapport with them. You'll develop camaraderie with them. They're gonna make you feel really heard and seen and comfortable on your wedding day. And lastly, number 6, sussing out why certain times of year are cheaper. There could be certain months of the year that are cheaper, certain days of the year that are cheaper, and a lot of times you see this and you're like, heck yeah, let's do that date because now that's in my budget. But I'm gonna caution you. I wanna know why it's cheap. Date selection is just supply and demand. So why is it so cheap? That means nobody wants that date. Why? Is it because, this venue is cheaper in general because it's older or the rooms are creepy? Is it because it's harder to get to? Is that date cheaper because it's a feast day and maybe you're getting married in a very religious area and everything is closed down and none of the vendors are gonna wanna work that day? Is it cheaper because this whole month it's monsoon weather or it's going to be super cold at the venue because it's high up in the hills? Is the Olympics happening or any major festival or event? Events like that around your venue are going to limit the amount of options that are available to you and your guests for accommodations and excursions. They'll raise the price of those accommodations, and there'll be a ton of traffic, which might negatively impact you and your guest experience. My advice here, understand why the date is cheap. If you can't figure it out, Google it. We wanna know what is going on that time of year. Is it weather? Is it an event? So that you can understand the full picture before you book that venue. You don't wanna find that out the hard way. Okay, run free. If you're ready to dive into wedding planning using these tips, the next step is to make a realistic budget before you sign anything. To do that, you can download my guide to estimate the cost of your destination wedding in Europe or Mexico. The link is below. Be sure to subscribe or like this video if you enjoyed it and leave a comment below. Happy planning!